Over 10 years ago, I released the m904 monitor controller. It was pretty much the beginning of the monitor controller era in our industry. But a lot has changed in the studio world since then, so we realized we needed to completely redesign our stereo monitor controller, and that is the m905. In developing the m905, we really left no stone unturned. There's no technology in the m905 that came from previous designs. Everything received a new level of scrutiny in the design process, and the result is a product that really exceeds the performance and usability of anything that we've done before by a big margin. As far as analog performance goes, we started from scratch and redesigned the analog signal path from input to output. There's nothing in common with the previous generation of monitor controllers, and as a result, we were able to get significantly improved performance. For instance, the dynamic range of the analog into-out system of the m905 is 8 dB better than the previous generation. We were able to reduce distortion components by 6 dB. In addition to distortion and dynamic range, we were able to bring the noise floor down in the m905 by 8 dB on that speaker outputs. We were able to bring the intermodulation distortion components down 50%. We were able to improve common mode rejection on the balanced inputs by 15 dB. These are really big numbers in this world of parts per million performance. We wanted to bring the D to A converter performance in the m905 up to the same level as the new analog circuitry, and we did that with the latest generation of D to A converters and a real redesign of our whole PLL clocking scheme. The S-Lock PLL that we've been using since the beginning has evolved over the years, but the current version in the m905 represents a real quantum leap up in performance over everything we've done in the past.
One of the most important things about digital analog conversion is providing the highest quality, lowest jitter clock as possible. And so for each of our digital audio inputs, we have to recover a clock and re-PLL or re-clock with a VCXO or crystal oscillator that can be adjusted to synchronize to your input signal. And so this has to be done for each of the inputs, ADAD, AES, SPDIF, etc. And it has to also be possible to synchronize to word clock input. Same with the USB. So we did a good job at that.
Yeah.
Well, I think we learned a lot of stuff on the 904. We made the most of what we had to work with in terms of the user interface. But for the 905, I think we brought in a lot of new technology in order to be able to give the user much greater control and feedback on what the system was doing. We had seen pictures of 904s in studios coming back, and every time we would see gaffer tape or whatever on the controls that they had listed the inputs, they had named them. So we compiled things like that over time, and we had a list, in our minds of what we wanted to improve in the 905.
There's all kinds of stuff to look at in the studio. Pro Tool screens, consoles, whatever. There's all kinds of distractions. There's all kinds of stuff to look at. And what we wanted the 905 to really be for the hardworking engineer is home base.
We basically started from the ground up developing this user interface. Folks are used to having, whatever device they have that looks great, and we knew we needed to hit that mark with this product. I'm colorblind, and certain things just don't work for me, and that was an important part of the learning experience of building this GUI, was making sure that what we came up with was going to be both looking good and very effective.
Information is displayed cleanly, efficiently, and it's not overburdened with deep menu structures. It's easy to navigate, and it's really easy to make changes. The mechanical design of the remote control is such that it really is comfortable with your hand, even more so than the 904. I mean, we spent a lot of time going back and forth, like, where do you put the knob on the thing? And where do you put the buttons in relation to the knob? And then where do you put the screen in relation to the buttons? And you look at the thing and it's like, yeah, that's pretty cool, you know? It seems like you put your hand there, you turn the knob, you push the button, everything goes. But that, like a decision like that took Mike and I weeks.
With the 905, we set out to create a user interface that was both extremely flexible and gave the user a very tactile hardware experience.
Everything had to be foolproof and everything had to be really easy. What we just never wanted anybody to have to do is to stare at the 905 and kind of go, does it, I don't, and then push a button and have something explode.
It seems it's become rather popular lately to play DSD audio files from your computer, and we were very fortunate to have designed in the opportunity to do so in 905. It was sort of a pleasant surprise as we reached the end of the development and released the product that we discovered that we had all the pieces in place to add DSD playback.
The headphone amplifier in the M905 features our new and improved crossfeed circuit. Crossfeed circuit is basically an acoustic simulator for your headphone amplifier. In a room listening to loudspeakers, your ears hear a little bit of each speaker, not just sound from one speaker. And as well, your head shadows your ear from one speaker or the other, and that affects the frequency and phase response of what you hear. A headphone crossfeed system simulates listening to loudspeakers and provides for a much more relaxing soundstage experience under headphones, which is also much less fatiguing when you're working for hours on end under headphones.
The M905 allows you to calibrate the system for your studio. Every input, every output can be calibrated. The routing configuration within the box can be set up. And all that is only 1 or 2 button presses away in the remote control. It allows you to go in and really dial in all these custom parameters very easily. We don't want to be navigating seas of menus, and we really wanted the user to be able to get in, access the parameter that they needed to, and then be back to normal operation without interrupting the workflow. And the final user interface that we came up with definitely achieves that.
While garnering expertise in computer interfaces is not the most fun thing for audio designers to do, it's a necessary part of working in a studio, and it's necessary technology for us to develop and gain some expertise in. And I've taken that piece of the puzzle on and accepted that we need to be able to do it well. And so it's very helpful to be able to leave the building and do something else.
It's products like the M905 which keep us really excited and passionate about building audio gear.
It was a great experience along the way, and now we've got a lot of new technology in our stable.
I think that we're a bigger and a better company because of the 905. We really have a great new toolkit in all that work that we did. And, you know, I'm not saying that the 905 is doing anything to change the world, but, you know, our goal is to help people make great music. I think that there's just great art being done all the time, and we are incredibly proud to be a part of that.